Hi, my name's Claire Haviland. I'm the English Subject Advisor at Pearson Edexcel, and this is a briefing session for teachers delivering our international GCSEs in English in the 2024-2025 academic year. We're going to cover all the things that you need to know. They're listed there on the screen. So advice about post-result services for the exam series that has just gone, checking in on any changes for 24-25, thinking about the November 24 and then the June 25 exam series, and covering things like forthcoming training, mock service, etc. So let's just get started by thinking about the May-June series. We hope, of course, that you are happy with your results. If you do need to use any of our post-result services like access to scripts or reviews of marking, then there's guidance on how to do all of that in the update that the slide links to. And then the key deadlines that you're working to going forwards are the 13th of September, so just around the corner, for the entry deadline for the November 24 exam series. The 26th of September is the end date for requesting reviews of marking for the June series. And then the 13th of December is the last date to download any of your student scripts using the free access to script service if you want to use them as exemplars or for teaching and learning going forwards. Just a reminder, because we've had some sort of refreshed specifications on the website, so just want to make sure that everybody is going to be using the right one. So if you've downloaded one ages ago, it's probably best to discard that and get a new version. For English Language A, we're on the issue 6 specification, and that's the one that has the new, it's not new anymore, but the component 3 updated coursework with 3 texts instead of 2 and no commentary. For English Literature 4ET1, you should be using now the issue 3 specification, which was published quite recently, and that's got the 2 new set texts in it for modern prose. For 4EB1, English Language B, there's no new specification because we haven't had any changes to that specification, so you should be using the issue 3. And if you're offering the modular specifications, if you're an international centre, then we're still on issue 1 for 4XEA1, so English Language A modular, but we're now on issue 2 for 4XET1, which is English Literature modular, because we've got the addition of the 2 new modern prose texts. In answer to the question, which comes around at this time of year, are there any changes for 24-25? For English Language A, there are no changes. I'm just flagging that coursework change to make sure everybody knows about it, but it's not a change because you already submitted coursework in that format in June 2024. I'm just keeping it on your radar in case you weren't delivering coursework last term. There are no changes for English Language B, and for English Literature, we've got the, as I already mentioned, the 2 new texts added, but otherwise no changes. And again, the same thing for the modular versions. And as usual, on-screen assessment is available for all of those specifications in 24-25, both in November and in June. And I guess the only change is that in June or sort of August 2025, we've got the first certification of the modular route. So if you started teaching using the modular approach, then next summer is the first time that your students will be able to certificate to finish off the qualification. I'm just going to recap on the English Language A coursework change, just to make sure everybody's completely clear on it. So we've changed this already in the summer, and students now write on 3 rather than 2 texts from part 2 of the anthology, and the text must include poetry and prose. They write on 1 single theme across the 3 texts. They don't write a commentary, and the piece is not comparative. And the word count has changed slightly, so the advisory word count is now 1,200 words, whereas before you had a split commentary and main essay word count. And assignment B is unchanged, so that's the writing part. And I've just linked to the documents which support you with that, should you be doing it for the first time. The examiner report from June 2024 will be useful if you're, for everybody, in fact, because it's the first examiner report on the new format. And I think we will have new exemplars for the coursework later on in sort of October time, because so far we only had some sort of legacy coursework as exemplars for the new format. So look out for that. And still on the same topic, along with the change to the coursework, there was a slight change to the mark scheme for paper 2, which is the equivalent of coursework, so that those two are aligned. English literature, I wanted to update you on where we are with the support for the new modern prose texts. So we've now published sample assessment materials. So you've got questions, sample questions for Clara and the Sun and Western Lane. And we've also published specimen papers, which are padlocked, so that if you want to assess students in due course with questions that they've not seen, you can now do that. And so very shortly we will have an updated Getting Started guide, which covers the new texts and knowledge organisers. And then following on a little bit later, we will have a teacher guide, scheme of work and course planners. So we've mentioned post-result services for summer, but then now we're just starting to look forward towards the next series, which is November 24. So this is a quick recap of the resit rules, which apply to linear international GCSEs. I've linked you to the full rules on the slide. But just a quick recap, you've got the 2 different routes, exam only and exam plus coursework. If your students are doing it exam only, then they have to resit both of the papers. If they did coursework and they're carrying on with that approach, they resit paper 1 and they can choose whether they carry forward the marks from paper 2, or the marks from the coursework, or whether they submit new coursework. So for each different combination or different approach, there's a different option code. So you need to go into the information manual and make sure that you get the right code. If students are redoing coursework for literature, for example, they can write on the same text, but they need to have a new title. And all of the coursework has got 2 pieces. If you resit coursework, both of the pieces have to be new work. You can't mix and match and resubmit one piece and not the other. And just another little brief reminder about the coursework change to English Language A. If your students have sat previously on the old style coursework for English Language A, and they're now resitting, they can carry forward those marks as usual, because it's the same marks for the old and the new style. So providing that the coursework was part of a certification previously, i.e. the students did paper 1 and the coursework and they got a grade, you can still carry forward the coursework marks if you did the old style coursework. Okay, and if you need to know about resitting for modular, then I would direct you to the entry, aggregation and certification rules. I'm not going to explain it here because it's slightly more complicated. And now we're looking forward again to the November exam series. So just reminding you of the deadlines. entries need to be in by the 13th of September, and you will be submitting your spoken language endorsement grades and samples, or your coursework marks and samples, by the 5th of November. And here is the exam timetable for November. So you have the first lit exam on the 4th of November, and they're close together, and then the last lit exam is on the 22nd of November. When we're in the live event, I'm going to do a teacher networking session here to let people exchange ideas or link up if they want to share resources, but we're going to move forwards here now because we're not online with any colleagues at the moment. And now we're going to think about the May-June 2025 exam series. So another reminder about the resit rules so that you know what to do about coursework if you're carrying forward or not. You've got your entry deadline on the 21st of March and your submission deadline for coursework and spoken language endorsement on the 15th of May. It's always the 15th of May, so that's one date to put in your diary every year. And I think the rest we've sort of more or less covered, so I'm not going to read through that. Just a reminder about resources and anthologies. So each year I do update the question summaries that I author for each of the qualifications, so you can look across and see what were the questions like for each text on literature across different exam series. I haven't finished them yet, but they will go up as soon as I have. According to our publication policy, we removed the padlocks from the June 2023 assessment materials on the 1st of August, so those are now open access. There's a link for ordering anthologies, and in relation to set text, I've directed you to the guidance. Oh, I just remembered actually, sorry. We now have a wider range of set texts available. I need to actually update these slides and make that clearer. So in response to customer feedback, where sometimes a school might have a whole set of Macbeth text, for example, but it wasn't the edition that we require. We've now listed multiple versions of some of the set texts that you can use for the open book exams. So giving you a bit more choice in case you find it difficult to source the one that we previously requested, and allowing centres that have got stock of a different version to use that. So do revisit the set text guidance, please. And then we have just another couple of notes about the anthology. So don't forget, the anthology is now open access on the website, so you don't need a hard copy necessarily. You and your students can access the anthology directly on the website at the link. If you want to order the anthologies, there's the guidance. And just to clear up some possible confusion, we are now on the issue 7 anthology, and the front cover's pink, which is the modular colour, but it applies to all of our qualifications, modular and linear. So on the website it's pink, and in future, but not at the moment, when you order a hard copy it will also be pink, it won't be blue. But we obviously don't want to waste copies of the anthology that are already printed, and there are no differences essentially between the issue 6 and issue 7 anthologies. So the basic position is, if you've got issue 4, 5, 6 or 6 anthologies in your stock cupboard to use, you can go ahead and use them. They'll all have a blue front cover. If you need new anthologies because you don't have enough, then you order those, and on the stationery website the cover will show pink, but you will be delivered blue because we've still got stock of issue 6 at the moment. But essentially there are only very minor differences between each of these issues, and you can go ahead and use any of those. Forthcoming training for English Language A, B and English Lit. There are 16 courses on offer. Obviously too small to read on the slide. I'm just having to look on my other screen, but they include exam insights, so a course which talks you through what happened in the June 2024 exam series and gives you some thoughts about that. Getting ready to teach, as always, for teachers new to the specification, or teachers who want to refresh on how to teach. And then we've also got coursework marking training for both English Language A and English Literature. If you're not doing coursework at the moment, but you've not delivered it before, I would recommend going on that coursework training, because it shows you where you want to get to with your coursework in advance, so that when you're delivering, you're clear about what you need to focus on. All of these can be booked at the link. A reminder of our mock service, in case you're not aware of it. We do offer both a mocks and a moderation service. The mock service is whereby you have students sit one of our papers, and we mark it for you. It's a paid for service, and if you go to the link, you will find out more about it. And on-screen assessment. So we've been offering on-screen assessment for some time now. So your students can opt to sit any of the international GCSEs, and also for English, and also the international A levels for English language and English literature now. If you don't know about the on-screen offer, there's a link there which explains it all to you. A quick note on the modular routes, in case you've not heard about it, but from, oh, I see that's a typo there. It should say in September 2023. I've changed too many of my 23s to 24s. In September 23, we introduced a modular version of English Language A and English Literature. The modular version is available for international centres only. And as I mentioned before, we'll be going through to the first certification in June 25, or the certificates will be, or the results will come out obviously in August 2025. The introduction of the modular route doesn't affect the offer of the linear route. The modular route does not have coursework, and it's only available to international centres. UK centres carry on as usual, offer the linear ones, and if you want to do coursework, you've still got that option. Apart from the sort of assessment pattern and the absence of coursework, the content of the modular and the linear routes is identical. So like the paper ones and the paper twos for modular and linear are exactly the same. The content, the division of the content across the papers is exactly the same for both modular and linear. On the live event, we'll have some questions there. Here are my contact details if you'd like to get in touch and ask questions in that way. I hope the new term gets off to a great start, and I look forward to having meetings with some of you and communicating by email and in other ways. Thanks very much.